I'm going to take you through 3 steps on how to get a stronger foot to core connection. Now, the first step in foot to core sequencing is going to be making sure that you are aware of and connected into your deep core muscles, also known as the pelvic floor. I'm going to take you through a standing pelvic floor activation. For this, I'm going to have you stand up and join me with your feet shoulder width apart. Knees are going to be soft, and we're going to start by stacking our rib cage and our pelvis. You can think of them as 2 cylinders that you want stacked. You're then going to bring your 2 fingers just inside your pelvis, or a part of the pelvis that's called your ASIS. Now, when we engage our pelvic floor, you should actually feel tension underneath your fingers. We are going to start by first engaging and connecting with the front of our pelvis, or the anterior pelvic floor. Now, this cue is going to be essentially a Kegel. Now, a Kegel is an anterior pelvic floor activation, which is what we do when we're trying to stop our pee. So that is what you're going to think of. Now, sometimes it helps to shut your eyes when you do these pelvic floor activations because you can visualize on the muscle. So we're going to start in our position. Hands are just inside the pelvis. Shut your eyes if you would like. And let's start to engage the anterior pelvic floor. So there's going to be a lift and then release. Lift and release. Let's do one more. Lift, hold, stay there. Can you feel tension underneath your fingers? Do you feel anything start to extend into the front of your pelvis, which is called your transverse abdominals? And then let's relax. Relax the front. We're now going to the back side, or the posterior pelvic floor, a muscle called your levator ani. So the lift of your levator ani is going to be kind of like if you're stopping your poo. Again, you can shut your eyes if it helps you to connect to the muscles. Keep the front relaxed. Let's go posterior. So we're going to lift and then release. Lift and release. Again, lift, hold, stay there. Do you feel tension under your fingers? Do you feel anything extend a little bit into your glutes or your deep glutes? And then let's relax. So we're going to add on. So now we're going to try to combine a lift of the front, a lift of the back, and then we're going to relax. Hands are same position, eyes can be shut. Here we go. Lift the front, lift the back, relax both. Lift the front, lift the back, relax both. One more. Lift, lift, release. Can you now engage both at the same time? So try to lift the front and the back at the exact same time. Shut your eyes again if you need. Here we go. Lift, release. Lift, release. Lift, and release. Perfect. Now, the big thing about pelvic floor activation and awareness is that when you are lifting the pelvic floor, no part of your body is actually moving. So your cue is going to be feeling tension in the base of your pelvis, and then to feel tension underneath your fingers that are just inside the pelvis. Once you're ready for step 1, we're going to progress to step 2. That is going to be connecting with your feet. So for this, we are going to do an exercise called short foot. I'm going to have you start by bringing one leg forward and the other leg is back. So you're in a split stance position. Your knees are going to be soft. Stack your rib cage and your pelvis again. Hands can be on the pelvis if you would like. Front foot. Find the foot tripod under the first med head, fifth med head, and heel. Lift those toes, spread them as wide as you can, and place them back down onto the floor. Push the tips of the toes down onto the floor, and then release. Push the tips of the toes down, and release. Do one more. Push the toes down, hold, and release. Now, if you can look at my foot for just one moment, every time I do short foot, or I push the tips of my toes down, do you see how my arch lifts and my intrinsic or deep muscles of my foot are actually engaging? And then release. That's what I want you to see or feel in your own foot. Other leg goes forward, split stance position, knees soft, stay stacked. Find your foot tripod, spread those toes out. Here we go, push the tips of the toes down and release. Again, tips of the toes go down, release. One more time, push, hold, and release. Beautiful. So hopefully you are starting to connect to the muscles of your feet, similar to how we were connecting to the deep muscles of our core. Your third and final step to establish strong foot to core sequencing and stability is to connect them. So let's go back to that first side. Front leg forward, foot tripod, stack your rib cage and your pelvis. Hands are just inside your pelvis. Here we go. If you want to start by just doing the front, back, hold, and push the toes down, you can, or you could lift the pelvic floor as one unit. My first round with you, I'm going to do first the front, the back, and then the release, and then we'll progress that. Okay, so we're in our position, foot tripod, toes are spread. Before you engage your foot, we start with the core. Here we go. Engage the front, engage the back, hold, push your front toes down, hold, and then release everything. Lift the front, lift the back, hold, push your front toes down, hold, release everything. Can you try both at the same time? Lift both front and back, toes go down, release. One more. Lift the entire pelvic floor, push your toes down, hold, and release. Perfect. Let's do the other side. Split stance, knees soft. Keep your hands, if you would like, just inside the ASIS. Here we go. Let's go to the more advanced right away. Lift the pelvic floor, hold. Push your front toes down, hold, release both. Lift the pelvic floor, hold, push your toes down, hold, and release. On this next one, I want you to see if you can notice that there's almost this opposition that's happening. As you lift your pelvic floor and you push your toes down, do you feel like you're creating space? So the toes go down and the pelvic floor lifts and then release. One more time. Lift the pelvic floor, push your toes down, feel that opposition, and then release. Great job. One last addition, and then you are on your way to a strong foot and core. Assume that first position, stacked, foot tripod, but this time, I want you to do your foot tripod on both the front and the back. Spread the toes on both. Here we go. Lift the pelvic floor, push your front toes down, hold, push your back toes down, hold, and release. Lift the pelvic floor, front toes, back toes, hold, and release. Great. On this next one, adding on. As you do this engagement, I want you to start thinking about your breath. So you are going to exhale as you do this entire engagement. So let's start with a nice inhale into our belly. And then as you exhale, start to lift the pelvic floor. Keep exhaling, push your front toes down. Keep exhaling, push your back toes down. Keep exhaling and release. Inhale into the belly. One more time, start to exhale, lift the pelvic floor, push your front toes down, push your back toes down. Keep exhaling and release. Beautiful. Let's get to that other side and we are on our way. Here we go. Big inhale into the belly. Start to exhale. Lift the pelvic floor. Keep exhaling. Push your front toes down. Keep exhaling. Push your back toes down and release. One more time. Start to exhale. Pelvic floor lift. Front toes go down. Back toes go down. Keep exhaling. 4, 3, 2, and release. Perfect. Now that you understand how to activate your deep core, that is going to be your step 1. Step 2, you're activating and connecting to your feet, and then that final third step is going to get your feet and your core to connect. Remember, your feet are only as strong as they are connected to your core. To learn more about how to keep your feet strong and healthy, please visit stepstrong.com.